So the AirBank company sent me their Pocket Pro 2 tire inflator to review. But before we get started, I wanted to let you know that I am actually pretty skeptical of these products. Not that they don't work, they do work of course, but you know, the question always is CO2 versus mini air pump. I've never had a mini air pump. Like I said, I've been skeptical. I told AirBank that I was skeptical. They still sent it anyway. And after using this for a few weeks, I would say I'm still skeptical, to be honest. I think I'm still on team CO2, and I'm gonna briefly explain why before we get into the details of the product itself. So I think the whole premise with these is that you're not having to buy a bunch of CO2s, which does make sense. You don't wanna keep buying these infinitely. But the reality is, at least for me, is I don't really use that many of these. I probably get a handful of flats a year, let's say 5 a year, and they're only about $1 each. So maybe I'm spending like $5 a year on these, but actually I don't remember what the price is of this, but it would take a lot of years of buying these to equal the price of buying one of these. And this doesn't last forever either. I don't know what the lifespan is, but there's a battery, there's some kind of circuit board, and there's a pump. A mechanical pump. So this doesn't have an infinite life. Based on all my years of experience of owning different electronics, I would bet this will last around 7 years. Just a guess, total guess, could be wrong. Maybe it'll last 10 years. But it does have a lifespan. You're not gonna be handing this down to your kids or something like that, obviously. So it's not like this is gonna last forever and you'll never have to worry about it again. Certainly this has a lifespan as well. And at, you know, $5 a year, well, plus the valve itself that you have to buy, okay, that's a little more. I don't really know if there's a clear winner between the two, but in my view, probably CO2s are gonna be more reliable. There's less parts, it's a valve and a CO2. So which one is really better? I'm not sure, but I'm leaning towards CO2. I think that's gonna be the more reliable one if you were to do some kind of long-term test. It's just a simpler solution. Now the positive side on this is if you're carrying one of these with you on your bike, in your bike bag, you probably have maybe 3 or 4 usages out of it. And you're usually not carrying 3 or 4 of these. I usually carry 1, maybe 2. So it's hard to say. I think though, to be honest, I'm still on team CO2. Let's get into the actual review of this particular product, this particular unit. I never used one before. I've seen a lot of people, you know, like them and use them, and that's fine. They do work. This one does work. Works fine, actually. I'll show you in a minute it working, but basically its operation is extremely simple. You just turn it on right here with this button. I think you got to long hold it. Yeah. And what's it say? 40, because I had set it to 40 PSI last time. I don't know if you can change it to metric, but I'm good with the PSI scale. So it blinks a couple times what you had it set to last, and then right now it's indicating there's 0 PSI. It's the atmosphere pressure, right? And it tells you how much battery is left, which in this case is 3 bars, which is the maximum. Now I have used it a couple times actually, so it may drop down 1 bar pretty soon. So that's it, and actually usually I just use it like this. I just stick this onto my Presta valve and then press the start button, which is the same button you press when you turn it on. I'll show you it working later. And then there's only 2 more buttons. There's the on and start button, which is the same, and then there's the turn the pressure up and down, and any time you can change that. So it's like 41, 42, whatever. I think I had it on 40 last because I was using it on my gravel bike. So really simple operation. That's definitely a pro, and it uses USB-C, which is good. Comes with the cord, comes with a bunch of bits and bobs that I haven't actually used that many of them yet, but I did use this one. This one you can use to pump up your Schrader valve. I don't think you could, I wasn't able to just jam this on a Schrader valve and use it like that. What I had to do was thread this on and then thread this into my Schrader valve, and it worked perfectly fine. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I would say I haven't had a flat out on a ride since owning this, luckily. But I've used it around the garage. What I actually found it rather useful for is I've got kind of lazy and I just wanted to top off some tires and also to get some usage out of it. So I've just been going around topping off my tires before rides, and it is quite convenient. Let's go try it out on a couple tires just to show you how it works. All right, apologies, the light is pretty low back here, but this is my Co-op ARD with my 35 mil tires. Last time I rode it, it felt like the pressure was a little low. So we're gonna top it off. I usually do 45 PSI on that. So let's turn it back on. I'll turn it up to 45 and that's it. And then I should be able to just stick it on there. Let me turn this down a little bit so you can actually see that while it's pumping up, it actually tells you what the pressure is, which is pretty nice. Okay, let's make sure you can see that. Okay, so you just stick it on, and yeah, you can see it says 24 PSI now. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the start button. And there you go. As you would expect, it stops when it reaches the desired pressure. Actually dropped down 1 PSI just then, but there we go. It works pretty slick. It does make your valve quite hot though. It's kind of weird. But yeah, it works great. And as you can see, that didn't even, I don't know if you can read that. It looks a little, maybe because the lighting is so poor in here, but it didn't even take 1 bar off of it. So let's go ahead and do the front too, just to demo it again. All right, here's my front tire. Now that rear one is actually tubeless. The front has a tube. Don't think that really matters here, but that one feels a little like the pressure is higher. Now, one thing I just noticed is it will turn itself off nicely to save batteries after you're not using it for a minute or two. So I'll turn it back on, leave it at 45 PSI. Oh, now it went down a bar, so it was on the edge. Let's go ahead and fill this one up and see where it's at. It's at 27, so. There we go, 45 PSI. So obviously it works, and it works quite nicely, and sometimes that's a lot nicer than getting the big old pump out and having to pump the whole tire up. Just for fun, let's give it a bigger challenge. Now that we've done 2 35 mil tires, let's go ahead and do this 29er. This is a 2.3 inch wide tire, and it is very, very low. It's probably 15 PSI. Well, we'll see in a second when I turn it on. I'm gonna set this one way down to, oops, wrong way. I'm gonna set it way down to like 22 or something. This is my 9er SIR 9. Okay. Oh wow, it says it's only 10 PSI currently. Very low. All right, let's see if we can get to 22. These bigger tires, they have a lot more volume, so they do take a lot longer. There we go, made it to 22 PSI. Not too bad. Whoa, that valve is hot. Super hot. But hey, it worked. And it still says we have 2 bars left, so let's keep challenging it and go to the back tire. All right, there we go, 22 PSI. That's actually pretty impressive. We've filled up and topped off 4 tires now. And I actually did one before I even started this video, so that's actually 5. And we are down to 1 bar. Okay, so that was actually a little more impressive than I even thought it would be. We did 2 35 mil tires from, what was it, 25 PSI to 45, and then we did 2 29 29er 2.3 inch tires, 2.35 from, what was it? Like 10 PSI or 15 PSI to 22, and we still have a little battery life left. And I used this, I think last night or the night before on a 26er I topped off. So we got like 5 uses out of it, not from 0 to full, but from somewhere to full, so whatever. That's actually pretty impressive. It's not too bad. I don't know. I can tell you this particular unit does work pretty good. I am pretty impressed with this particular unit. This, I don't know if other ones are better or worse, but yeah, it works good. I think the best attribute is if you're gonna do a long tour, you know, you're gonna do a multi-day tour, maybe this is smarter than the CO2 because you can carry one of these and fill up your tire a handful of times where you'd need to carry like 4 or 5 of these to do the same thing. Most of the time I'm not doing tours. Most of the time I'm gonna have 1 CO2 or maybe 2 CO2s that'll probably be a little lighter and to me just simpler, and I don't need to worry about being charged. But I could see if you're gonna do a long tour, multi-day tour, this could be the winning move. You can fill up a handful of times. Also, when you use one of these, once you break the seal, it's gonna empty out eventually. So I don't know. I'm a little bit undecided, to be totally honest. I do like the product. It seems to work well. One thing I should mention though is it's quite warm, and the other thing is that it gets loud. Excuse me, not hot, but loud. Yeah, it's pretty loud. It sounds like a miniature compressor, because that's what it is. I don't know if I'll do another video updating you on the long-term usage of this, but I'll write it in the description when and if it ever fails, just so you get an idea of how long it actually lasts. So I'll leave a link to the AirBank company's website down below, so you can order one of these if you would like to. Thanks for watching. Bye.